Hello and welcome to Law and Order SVU. I am Yael Tygiel. Oh, here on FANVERSATION. I'm sorry, I got excited.
Oh, you messed with my flow.
Hello and welcome to Law and Order SVU here on FANVERSATION. I am Yael Tygiel. That's Taylor Gates. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
You like how I restarted as though we're not live?
Yeah, I did.
Great. I also like that, and then I'm not going to edit it out. Because why would I? Welcome. If you are in a situation where you need help, please reach out to RAINN. Their number is 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. Taylor, what does that spell?
It spells hope.
It does spell hope. If this is your first time checking out the SVU podcast, welcome. You're in for a treat. Sometimes the show deals with serious issues, and sometimes it gets very dark. Abuse is a very serious issue. Here on the SVU podcast, we say offensive things sometimes. Consider this your content warning. This episode in particular, I'm going to upset some people, and I cannot wait. Taylor, this is season 26, episode 20, Shock Collar. This we know we're out of order, and that's okay. We missed this. We're coming back to it. I'm glad we came back to it. Here is the quick cap for season 26, episode 20, Shock Collar. SVU investigates if a car theft involving a young girl in the backseat was random or a planned kidnapping. Taylor, what did you think of this episode?
I feel like I'm not matching your energy, I fear, but this one made me like sick and gave me the ick in a way that I struggled with, because usually with the show, it's like, okay, this is crazy and it's like a little out there. And even the ones that are serious is like, okay, you can like tell it's pretend, there's like an element of like ridiculous. Like fun is the wrong word, but you all hopefully know what I mean. It has a very unique vibe. And this one just didn't give me that. This one made me feel gross. And I was talking to a friend a couple weeks ago, I think, and they were like, yeah, I haven't like watched SVU in a couple seasons because I feel like it's gotten a little bit more exploitative. I can never say that word, but they're like showing more than they need to show, frankly, to get the message across. And I have to sort of agree at times. I don't think we needed to see as many videos as we did for as long as we did to get the point of this episode and the abuse that was happening. It made me feel a little nasty watching it, and I guess that was the point, but I didn't love it. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was a little bit much.
I agree with you. Seeing the torture, seeing the abuse, felt gross and unnecessary. Now you're probably wondering why I have all this energy about this episode, because here is how I interpreted this episode, and I'm going to say this right out loud. I have no reason to believe this, but this episode felt like the writers of the show went, you know what Yael likes to do is talk about weird, crazy kinks. And this show went, what if we go to the extreme and show the extreme of weird, crazy kinks and force us to talk about it? Because the truth is, I'm going to jump all the way to the end. The situation with the Carwoods, with Dennis, right? We find out that he is aroused by watching his wife discipline dogs. There are people that you can hire, adults, who are into things like this, that they could have done. So the fact that he enjoyed watching her abuse children is weird and awful. And so wild that we decided, it would be fun. Let's explore this weird, crazy fetish, but also make it terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna explore the kink, I know it, like, we're not kink shaming, it is a kink. However, it's not fun to talk about when it's done like this. Like, if this could have been like off the walls, crazy, fun, indulgent, but it's not. It's nasty. Of course, it's always nasty. I just want to keep reiterating that. It's SVU. I know that. We do that. That's what the point of the show is. But I think there are certain things you don't need to show, certain things you don't need to do, especially if you're gonna, because they didn't talk about the kink conversation. That wasn't in it at all. Like, we know that, but that is not what they were bringing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just made me feel like nasty in a way that episodes don't usually make me feel, frankly.
I agree with you. Let's jump back to the beginning of the episode. I want to talk about the new Chief of D's, because it's such a small part, but this man looked like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Right? You saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, why did we need this cartoon? What does this have to do with anything?
It didn't.
It didn't. It was weird, and it was there. But you know what? It happened.
It happened.
Which is honestly what I felt like a lot of this episode was.
It happened. We also just didn't have anyone to root for, like a villain or otherwise. Like, of course I was rooting for the girl's safety, but that's a lie. There was one person I was like, love him. He's so fun. But there were just like not fun characters in this either. Like last week, or I guess the week before, whatever, we went out of order. Cash register, I loved him. You know what I'm talking about if you watch the episode that we did on Sunday. Like, fun, silly, big personality. All these people just like not that fun to watch. Like, even the mom, I'm sorry, she bugged me. She didn't do anything wrong, but she didn't know the answer to any question and like wouldn't cooperate. They're asking, do you think he would do that? Girl, they don't know. That's why they're asking you information about your ex. They don't know if the ex would have done it. That's why they're asking you. Like, I'm sorry, but she was just pissing me off because I'm like, use your brain. They're asking you because they're trying to figure it out. They don't know your ex. That's the point. I just feel like everyone bothered me in this episode too. Like, just use your brain cells.
I like you upset. I agree with you. I think it was a weird episode. There were some like kind of were trying to be fun characters, but not really. Honestly, at some point I went, wait a second, did somebody just watch Best in Show and decide, you know, it'd be fun is if we do a Best in Show SVU?
Yeah, I don't know. It just, ugh. Something about it gave me ick.
I mean, yes, it was an icky episode. There's no something. It's the episode. The episode was icky.
Yeah.
I think that the idea that they were like, dog breeders. My brain was dog trainers, first of all, not dog breeders. But second of all, open it up. Dog trainers, dog breeders, dog boarders. Like, open up your search.
Also, kind of a crazy leap to me. I was like, sometimes people just have 2 dogs. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes people just have a couple dogs. Like, why do you think they were? I mean, I get it, how we got there, but I was like, that's kind of a jump, you know?
I genuinely was like, trainers. They train dogs. Maybe they train dogs for the military. Maybe they train dogs for the police. Like, the fact that they immediately went breeders, I went, you have narrowed this down very, very too far. Again, I really think somebody watched Best in Show, especially because the breeders that we met were so funny and weird.
Yeah, I did like them.
I have a note about the trio of pervs, which are the subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that they were like, oh, it was an accident that I watched this. And every time Curry was like, you had to pay to see it.
I know, I wish we could have gotten somewhere where that was actually true. They're like, dude, I exited out like ASAP. Was not feeling that. I wish one of them that was true, because I think that would have been fun, you know? It's like, bro, I don't know, man. I was looking for something else.
Maybe he was looking for the adult version.
Yeah.
The consensual adult version. That would have been more interesting. But instead, we got the one guy who's like, I liked the original better. Sir, you don't need
I mean, I did respect the honesty though. I'm like, okay, well, at least he's helping us, and he's like not ashamed about this. So I mean, I was like, you know what? Thank you. Like, for the help.
But he was like, she was older. I was like, was she? Because I don't think she was.
Not much.
No,
And like, even still.
And she was still a child.
And their child. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep. I'm going to give some actor shout outs because I really liked these performances. So first of all, the mother whose daughter got taken, Katie, was played by Leah Zawada, who I was like, I know this face. She's a repeat offender. She was a child. Incorrect. She's from the original Leverage.
Okay.
Which explains why I was like, I know this face as a child. All right. So Nicole Carwood was played by JJ Pyle. Haley, the little girl, was played by Aislinn Echo Wood. Great performance, especially for a child in such a weird thing to have to perform. Yeah. Dennis Carwood is played by Skylar T. Adams. Debbie Trotch played Tina Blackwood. She is the dog trainer who recognized the Carwood's daughter. And I'm trying to think. Dylan, the baby daddy, is Joshua Bess. Jacob Keith Watson was the gay dog trainer who deserves deserves all the praise. Our cartoon chief of D's was played by Steve Felice, I'm guessing is how that's pronounced. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Yeah, such a weird episode.
Yep. Yep.
I will say also, and maybe I don't know dogs well because I'm a cat person, but when the cops surrounded the Carwood's land, no dogs alerted the owner.
Crazy, actually.
Literally, they were standing in the woods talking, and all I could think was, don't they have like 15 dogs?
Yeah, you would think. Is this the time for me to get on my soapbox, though?
Please.
Okay. I hope no one takes this the wrong way.
Take it the wrong way, people.
People who are too obsessed with dogs piss me off. Because when you care more about dogs than people, you have lost the plot. I'm so sorry. I get it. There's the whole, like, I like dogs more than people. Whatever. That's fun as a joke. But when you mean it, that's crazy. And I don't like that. So when, what's her face? Debbie? Is that no, that wasn't the girl. Who's the Carwood mom?
Nicole.
When Nicole, and this is her whole character, but she's like, I need to make sure my babies are okay. My Rottweilers. Shut the fuck up. Like, I hate you. And I hated you before, but that particular line made me hate you more than anything. Like, I don't like that. I think that's insane when people care more about dogs than people. But also, I get we're not going to kink shame, but like getting turned on from like dogs being, I mean, I don't know that they were abused, right? It seemed like she treated the dogs okay. But even so, like getting turned on from an animal in pain, ew, I'm sorry, that can't be consensual. A dog can't consent to that.
Okay.
So that also grossed me out.
I'm gonna get on my soapbox now. I'm gonna join you on a soapbox. Because he got turned on by watching his wife discipline someone subservient, a dog, a child. Right? So now I agree the dog and child part is the problem.
Sure.
But the line later when Benson says to her, like, oh, you like to be in control. I don't think you're gonna do well in prison. All I could think was she's a dom and would do fantastic in prison.
She's probably good in prison. But like there's no like you can't be just disciplining a dog when the dog is not doing anything because it turns someone on. You have to have, here's what you have to do. You have to have an adult consensual person acting like a dog.
Yes.
So I think that we should have addressed that too. That is borderline, and frankly, probably did cross the line of animal abuse sometimes.
Totally.
I didn't like the way you didn't address that.
I agree with you. And I definitely felt like this episode was like, this. And again, we're not kink shaming people who are into this consensually with adults.
Right.
But they were like, what if we take this and fuck it up to make it SVU?
Yeah.
Just to push.
Yeah. Everyone in the sub position was not consenting. Dog, child, they can't do that. Neither of them. You have to have an adult person come over with a leash. Like, that's what you have to do if you're into that. I'm sorry. Nasty. Hate it. Address it.
Well, do you have any good lines?
Yeah, I have a couple.
All right, well, give us your lines.
This was the mom who lost the kid. We discovered nail polish remover. Was that yours? No, I don't have time to do my nails. I was like, so real of her. I did like that line. I can't have anything to do with kitty porn. I'm a pediatric dentist. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be having anything to do with that then, should you? Gay dog breeder. I'm dating a guy. Why does that matter? I was like, okay, eat him up. I love that. And I thought it was just crazy that they said to call in the canine unit in this episode in particular. What an insane choice. What an insane choice. So I just had to note the fact that they really went and did that, because you could have not said that. You could have not done that. That was a lot.
Awesome.
But also, another gripe I have, when they're talking to the mom, and she's like, oh my God, child porn? And they're like, no, not child porn. This is child porn. It's a different kind of child porn. This is child porn. No?
Great question. It is definitely child abuse.
Yeah.
I think because the acts towards the child are not sexual, whereas the website and the people watching it are taking sexual pleasure for it. I think, and let me say this on the internet, I can't confirm one way or the other if this is correct, but I think because of that, it's not child porn. Also, like, I think they're letting the mother know your child is not being raped or sexually assaulted.
Okay, that's fair. I was just like, weird distinction, because it feels definitely still pretty child porny to me. But I guess you're right. She was like fully clothed. Yeah, there was distinctions, but I was like, I don't know that you should be reassuring her that much, because it's still not great and people are still doing stuff.
I feel like it's actually, I thought about that during the episode, that if it were child porn, they would have told her that that's what it was. But because her daughter was being tortured, they didn't tell her what was happening. And it makes me wonder why we've ever told the parent what was happening until like the kid was home safe or dead. You know what I mean? Like, now that I think about it, I went, wait a second, why have we ever been like, we found pictures of her being, raped on the internet?
Well, last week we said, yeah, press play on the video. Are you guys serious?
Next week, but yes.
Whatever. The timeline is all switched up, but
yes, it is.
Episode 21 of this season. We're just saying press play on the video, which is nuts. Okay.
Alexa in the chat says, weird episode. I semi-expected more twists. I agree that honestly, the evolution of the episode was like sad and gross. And then eventually just got to, again, I see weird and crazy kinks, but like, again, I'm not kink shaming. Good for you on your weird and crazy kinks, as long as everyone is an adult and consenting. But like, it just devolved into this weird, crazy kink story.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we have Noah and the girls and Rollins at the beginning? Was it because Noah has been put in a dog cage?
I was literally thinking about that. I was like, I can't believe this didn't connect.
I genuinely think that's the only reason he was in the episode, is to connect it.
But they didn't say anything connecting it.
Which is, again, why I believe this episode was created for us to get on a soapbox.
I fear we're giving them too much credit.
All right. I just wish.
If you guys did, thank you. But also, we have notes, clearly. So
I mean, yeah, let's talk about that. If this episode is for us, here's what we would have liked. Less gross.
Do not have kids or dogs involved, period. You can have adults acting like kids and dogs, but no real kids and dogs.
And that actually is a much more interesting episode, is adults acting like kids or dogs.
Agreed. Because then it's like, there's like the weird stigma. It's like, that's interesting. But we're too cowardly to go there.
I have show news. More show news.
Wow.
Yeah. So our recent news has been, I have to pull it up. Our recent news has been that we have been renewed for, we have anything to do with the show.
You personally.
SVU, has been renewed for a 27th season. There will be a new showrunner, the first ever woman showrunner for SVU season 27.
In the year 2025, that's despicable anyway.
Agreed. Also, we're losing Velasco and Silva, which is a bummer since we got more Silva and got to know her. And this episode, Velasco helps pick up the girl.
Yeah.
All right. The other big news that came out is executive producer and writer Julie Martin is also leaving. And director, executive producer Noberto Barba is leaving the executive producing team. He will continue to direct.
I didn't realize he was a producer anyway, so
I mean, I
thought he was just a director.
I think he was a producing director, which is
gotcha.
a different role.
Gotcha.
But it's very interesting because Julie Martin, according to Deadline, has been working in the Law and Order universe for almost 2 decades. She worked on Criminal Intent, Mothership, LA, and SVU, where she's been for the last 14 seasons as a co-executive producer. This feels like we're in for a whole lot of change, which is very exciting, but also very scary at 27 seasons, because there's a lot of history and canon and facts that we expect to be followed and remembered.
On the plus side, the showrunner also has been working in the SVU space for a while. She's written episodes, which presumably means she's been in that writer's room for at least a couple of seasons. I don't know if they're the most recent seasons or not. I would have to check. I know she'd written on like the middle, or not middle, but like 10, 11 episodes in there for sure. So I don't know if she left and came back or she's been consistently working, but at least we know that she has experience in this universe, which is, I think, a good thing. So maybe it'll be sort of like the best of both. One can hope of knowing the canon, respecting the canon, but bringing like a new fresh touch to things. That's what I'm hopeful for, at least.
I love your optimism, and I hope you are correct.
Me too.
It's time for shower thoughts. For our friends who listen in the shower, welcome to your shower. We have a would you rather that Tari helped me come up with.
Oh, wow.
So you know it's going to be wild.
Yep.
All right. Would you rather find out that your partner is into a weird kink that you're really not into, or that you're into the same thing, but the circumstances make it nearly impossible to do it often, such as you have to be bungee jumping or in water surrounded by sharks?
That one, the second one, because then it could be a really special, fun thing when you do get the opportunity to do it, and it can spice things up. And you can still talk about it and like do some dirty talk about it. You know what I mean? That could be so beneficial. I'm saying number 2.
Interesting.
What are you saying?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't know. Because I was like, okay, what are some weird extreme kinks that I am not necessarily...
Bungee jumping is one? I mean, probably. There is a kink for about just everything, so...
I mean, it might be that they have a kink that is something else, but like, to do it properly, you have to be bungee jumping or
No, I
something.
love that, though. No, I'm saying that one.
I don't know. That's a hard one. I have to think about it.
Why do you come up with a question and not think about your answer?
Because it's for you. I do this for you.
Okay, honestly, and I appreciate that. I feel like I'm being interviewed, and I love that.
I also do it for our live chat and people who are listening on the audio versions. Especially if you're on iTunes, give us a rating and a review and let us know whether you would rather find out your partner is into a weird kink that you're really not into, or find out that you're into the same thing, but the circumstances make it nearly impossible to do it often.
Yeah, definitely that one.
All right. I mean, I think either way, you're not getting it what you want.
Yeah, but you have like a point of connection with the second one still, you know?
But what if in the first one, it's everything's great except for they're into this one thing that you're not into, that I would assume you would probably every once in a while do for them because you love them.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want us both to be into it, and once in a while do something we both are really enjoying.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Maybe you've won me over.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Alexa in the chat also doesn't know. Yeah, it's a hard one.
It's not hard for me.
I mean, also, I was like, what is a weird, crazy kink that I was like, where are my limits?
Yeah.
Oh, fun questions. That's what we do here at S Review, is Yael brings out weird shit to tell everybody about. I'm a weirdo and I like it and you like it. Taylor.
Yes.
It's time for What Did You Learn?
I learned that I guess what we saw wasn't child porn. That was interesting. I mean, that's an interesting debate, though, an interesting discussion. So I will say that.
Okay.
What qualifies as that?
Yeah. I learned that the writers are trying to find my limits.
They're scooting up against them.
They really are. And I learned that they want me to talk about puppy play with our audience.
And we will do that, but do it in a way, do it with adults who are consenting. And then we'll have a really fun time talking about it.
Yeah. I agree with you. Let's talk about puppy play.
Oh my God. I didn't know that I need to see that. Because I'm going to be honest, that's not one for me personally.
I just needed everyone else to see it. Listen, we do not kink shame here.
Oh, I'm not at all. Do
no,
you? I don't care.
I'm announcing to the audience, not you.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just a reminder that adults who consent should be able to do whatever makes them happy, as long as it's not hurting someone who's not consenting to be hurt.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just really wanted to share that with everybody.
Why do we need the picture?
Honestly, because those masks are fucking cool.
I love that for you. I get a little bit, not uncomfy necessarily, but like, you see furries at different events, I'm like, I just kind of can't. And I can't imagine how hot it is under that. I was at Ren Fair and saw someone in a full furry. I'm like, you have to be sweating so much.
I literally was about to say, did you see the furry when we were at the Ren Fair?
Yes, and I was like, how are you doing that? Like, I'm just like, your comfort just cannot, like, good for you if that's what you want to be doing. But, oh my God, it makes me hot thinking about it, and not in a sexy way, in a temperature way.
I literally had this amazing conversation with Carrie when I was at the Red Fair. Alexa in the chat said, I worked in the animal pet industry too long to get into that. Listen, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying, I have brought and talked about many a kinks and fetishes here on this podcast that are not my thing. But if the show is going to ignore and shame people, again, not talking about abusing children or dogs.
No.
That I'm going to use this platform to point out that adults doing things they consent and want to do is their business, and we do not shame them for it.
Yeah, give us more of that consensual stuff and then have the crime be something unrelated.
Right. Have it be, if you remember early seasons, there was the episode with the gay football player who died with the ball gag, or the ball gag was put into his mouth afterwards, something like that. And there was a whole conversation about, maybe it was, BDSM gone wrong. And then it had nothing to do with that. And it was his boss or his agent who killed him to hide that he was gay and wanted to quit and come out. See how that works?
Yes. That we're fine with. Do more like that.
Yes. Anyway, that's that. We will be back on Sunday for the finale of the season. Through the summer, we will very likely be on break. We may do an episode or something fun here and there, but we will be taking a summer break because we're tired and busy and have other things we need to work on, because we do this for funsies. In fact, we don't make money on this show. We just do it because we like to talk about SVU, even when the episode is gross and icky. And sometimes we have fun lines that result in cool swag that we do sell, and again, makes us pennies. So we're not doing it for money.
Literally pennies, you guys. We get actual just cents from it, but still, you should buy it.
Because it's fun. We do this for fun. Again, we are consenting adults who do this for fun.
Yeah.
Taylor, if people want to keep up with you between now and the season finale, where are you on the internet and what are you up to?
I am on Twitter at alphabet_and. I'm also on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I do reviews and interviews for Collider, so you can just search Taylor Gates Collider and you can watch some interviews I've done, read some reviews I've done, and if you're into that sort of thing, if that's your kink.
Nice. Amazing. I am Yael Tygiel on Instagram at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. If you like Leverage Redemption, or if you like The Librarians, there are official after shows for those shows on Electric Now, which is a free app. The Librarians, the next chapter is premiering in like 10, 12 days. And there will be an official after show for that. So check that out on Electric Now. Also, if you would like more information about weird kinks that we might not be into, but you might want to explore. And again, I will never shame you as long as it is a consensual adult. Genuinely, I have romance novel recommendations to go with almost every kink we have talked about on this podcast. So if you want more of that, check out Good Little Library Mouse on Instagram. You can do it anonymously. I will send you recommendations, even if you want to know more about puppy play. No shame. We love you, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye.